Meet Larry. Larry lives in Sydney and is an entrepreneur with the next big idea. It's so big, it just may be the next Facebook. And he wants to start his own startup and get things rolling. Now, to succeed in his new venture, Larry needs exposure. Larry needs his startup to be noticed by and get his message to the right investors. Living in Sydney is a barrier for Larry to gain exposure to venture capitalists. Larry also needs capital from investors to fund his startup. Larry needs to find the right talent to help make his startup a success. Larry also needs support. He needs mentorship and guidance in setting up his startup. He also needs infrastructure and industry collaboration. Meet Kevin. Kevin is a Silicon Valley venture capitalist. He's looking for the next Facebook. Kevin is interested in finding and investing in the right team to deliver on their disruptive and innovative idea. Meet Mark. Mark is a Russian software developer looking to work for the next Facebook. Mark wants to know a lot about the startup before working with them. Larry, Kevin, and Mark are all a perfect match. However, the probability of them connecting is low. Why? You see, the problem is the startup and investment industry is fragmented and not integrated. There are many silos, but no de facto marketplace by which entrepreneurs, angel investors, venture capitalists, and professional talent can connect. Startups typically need to utilize different sources for support across their life cycle, being ideation, incubation, and commercialization. This is a very inefficient way of supporting startups to growth and scale stage. This is where Sandbox comes in. Sandbox is a revolutionary online startup exchange that delivers an integrated ventures, investment, talent, and incubation platform solution to key challenges faced by the startup community. Sandbox solution contains 5 key elements to solve these challenges. The first element is the entrepreneur community, what we call Sandbox. This is a social platform for entrepreneurs to connect, collaborate, and celebrate wins. The second element is the Ventures Exchange, what we call Sandcastle. This is a catalogue of ventures that provides efficient and equitable accessibility. The third element is the Investment Exchange, what we call Sandbank. This is a market with mediation services to facilitate investment capital flow, providing efficient linking of capital with investment opportunities. The fourth element is the Talent Exchange, what we call Sandbar. This is an integration of professionals with ventures to facilitate talent search and acquisition. The fifth element is the Accelerator Program, which we call Quicksand. This is a program to accelerate promising ventures through additional support services. You see, the problem is the overwhelming majority of startups fail. 95.2% of Australian-based startups, 93.4% of New York-based startups, and 92% of Silicon Valley-based startups. The main reasons why startups fail is because they are unable to acquire the talent required during the critical growth stage. Market problems, business model failure, poor management team, they run out of cash, and or product problems. So why should we care? In 2013, there are approximately 1,500 tech startups with hubs in Sydney and Melbourne. 2,000 founders with a rapidly expanding ecosystem. There is significant growth in the Australian startup industry. Australian startups are forecasted to contribute $109 billion to the Australian economy. That's 4% of GDP and 540,000 jobs by 2033. Along with that, 5,600 new startups will be forming each year by 2033. The startup industry is evolving towards an open marketplace model. The unbundling of advice, control and capital due to decreasing information asymmetry and increasing maturity of the startup industry. Increasing commoditization of capital, given that the costs to launch startups are decreasing due to technology enablers. Erosion of arm's length relationships between VCs and startups, and crowdsourced markets like Kickstarter encroaching on the traditional VC markets. These trends are fundamentally shifting the needs of the industry players and stakeholders. There is a preference for integrated, value-added services, like business development, support and collaboration, due to the commodity of capital. Platformization. A marketplace is a primary provider of capital, given its commodity, with VCs adding value via venture vetting and deal structuring. At Sandbox, our purpose is to make the startup community more open, connected and successful while unifying all stakeholders under one platform. The Sandbox proposition has three key components: launch, grow and scale. While competition in the entrepreneurial network domain is steadily increasing. Sandbox's strategy is to disrupt the industry by utilising a hybrid freemium subscription and equity charging model. Sandbox delivery plan contains three major releases. Establish the core venture base, then build out the professional connections and accelerators. The initial focus is to attain critical mass of startups on the Sandbox platform. This is key to attracting other customer types such as investors and professional talent to Sandbox. Later half of release 1 to focus on attracting investors to join. At our second stage of delivery, we want to build from our core customers to attract entrepreneurial professionals. Focus of releasing on delivering social platform and talent listing and search functionality. Then once core set of features are in place to service our customer types, we'll finalise Sandbox with the implementation of a fully funded accelerator program. Our Our base case modelling indicates that Sandbox will be generating 100 to 155 million net earnings by year 10. Thanks to Sandbox, Larry has received all of the support he needs to make his venture a success. Sandbox has connected Larry, Kevin and Mark. They are all well on their way to grow Larry's venture to scale stage and onto IPO. This is Sandbox, and we're creating a globally connected startup community.